Hi, welcome to the Print Live. I'm Ritika Jain and I'll be taking questions today on whether the mediation process in the Ram Janmabhoomi and the Babri Masjid title dispute case was going to be a doomed attempt. Please send me your questions. I'll try to answer them the best I can. In the meanwhile, let me just give you a quick recap. Earlier this week on Monday, one of the first litigants in this civil dispute matter, Gopal Visharad, he approached the Supreme Court saying that the mediation process was not making any headway and that the Supreme Court should hear this matter judicially. This means that the matter which is in the Supreme Court, which was earlier being heard by a 5-judge constitution bench led by Chief Justice of India Ranjan Gogoi, they should hear the matter and it should not and it should basically conclude the mediation proceedings which have been on since February. Taking this forward, earlier this year in February, the Supreme Court had tried to bring about an amicable solution and send the matter for mediation. This is a long-standing civil dispute which has been going on since the 1950s. All through the trial court process, all through the high court process. Finally in 2010, the Allahabad High Court said that by a 2-1 majority had basically divided the parcel of land where the Babri Masjid once stood and which is also allegedly the birthplace of Sri Lord Ram. They had divided the entire parcel of land into 3 ways. One portion would go to the Nirmohi Akharas, one would go to the deity Ram Lalla, which is the child, which is considered to be the minor version of the child version of Lord Ram, and the third part would go to the Sunni Waqf Board. However, this judgment was challenged in the Supreme Court immediately, soon after, and it's been in the Supreme Court ever since. There have been attempts to mediate this matter or to bring about a resolution to this matter before. There have been 9 or 10 attempts so far. Former prime ministers and various spiritual gurus, they've all tried to bring about mediation, or they've all tried to arbitrate the proceedings, or just basically bring about an amicable solution. But this is perhaps the first time a mediation process is going to be court monitored, and it will be mediated by a panel of 3 people who were chosen perhaps by the Supreme Court. This panel of moderators is led by a former Supreme Court judge, Justice Kalifullah, also Shri Ravi Shankar and Senior Advocate Sri Ram Panchu are also going to be mediating on this proceedings. We have a first question. Anisha is asking, was there any hope it would reach a consensus? Well, the hope is always there that there would reach a consensus, and one can always attempt, but you never know. This is a highly communalized and political issue, and it needs to be tread very carefully, and hence I think all attempts are being made to try perhaps every solution in the book, including the mediation. Rishabh was asking, is it a delaying tactic? The matter has been going on for many years, and it includes a lot of litigants, it includes a lot of cross appeals, so it's not an easy dispute. It's not one versus the other. It's literally more than 20 litigants who have cross appeal against each other and amidst each other. So it's not as though you can sit and complete these proceedings, these judicial proceedings right before the elections. The VHP and the Vishwa Hindu Parishad and the RSS were of the opinion that perhaps yes, the Supreme Court's direction to send the matter for mediation could have been a delaying tactic. Aarti is asking, why doesn't the SC take a call on the Allahabad High Court order and just basically uphold it? Or why is it looking for consensus, and why is it not looking for consensus? Well, the Allahabad High Court order, which has been challenged in the Supreme Court, the proceedings were going on. Before the matter went for mediation, there were a lot of pre-trial motions that were to be completed. But before the trial could take off, the Supreme Court sent the matter for mediation. She has also asked, why look for an alternate consensus which is opposed to the High Court order? Well, the High Court order was challenged, so perhaps the Supreme Court thought that maybe if it goes for mediation, if all the parties sit together on a common table, then maybe they'll come to a resolution amongst themselves and they would deal with it. DK asked, is there any precedent? No, there hasn't been any precedent per se, in the sense, yes, there have been attempts, out of court attempts before, but this is the first court monitored attempt. Apurva is asking, what if the mediation goes through and the outcome is not in sync with the High Court order? Well, the Supreme Court had said that whatever decision is acceptable to all the parties, it would perhaps give a stamp of approval if it was in consonance with the law. So even if it's different from the High Court order, it shouldn't have been a problem at that time. But as of now, we don't know. Is there any time limit to this mediation process? Yes, there is a time limit. In February, the Supreme Court had given the panel of mediators 8 weeks. But since they failed to come to a resolution, the panel had sought an extension of time, and now they have time till the 15th of August. Is the mediation process binding? Yes. No, not really. I'm sorry. Not really. The mediation process is not binding, but if they do come to a solution which is acceptable to all of them, the Supreme Court will consider it seriously. Debayan has asked, will it look at evidence? Will the panel of mediators look at evidence? Well, in February, the Supreme Court had gagged the media from reporting on the proceedings of the mediation. So we're not really allowed to talk about it. So we're not really sure about the process that the three mediators are going to look at. There are a few more questions that have come in. Rohan S has asked, who are the primary stakeholders in this mediation? Well, the Sunni Waqf Board, the Nirmohi Akhada and Lord Ram in his minor form Ram Lala are the primary stakeholders in this matter. But since it's a communal matter, it's a more public interest matter, there are various other litigants who have come in, and they have all come in mostly as private citizens with their right to pray. Do the mediators lack credibility? Dilip has asked. No, the mediators do not lack credibility. They are in fact highly placed individuals. They are very learned in their field. Justice Khalifullah was a former Supreme Court judge. Senior Advocate Sriram Panchu is known as the father of modern mediation, and Shri Ravi Shankar is a spiritual guru who has been looking at this issue for many years. I believe that's all the questions for now, but I'll still hang on and wait for some more. To give you more context, like I said earlier, the mediation process cannot be reported on because there's a gag order, but we're aware of certain issues that have cropped up, and according to what the petition which was filed on Monday also states, that the solution that the mediators are putting forward are beyond the scope and they are more political in nature. That's all we can talk about the process for now, but we will just have to go by what the petitioner says. Ravi has asked, is the union government a stakeholder too? No, the union government is not a stakeholder in this matter, but it is looking at this issue with a certain interest, because it's a matter of great religious and communal importance, and this issue has been a very sensitive issue politically as well as communally for very many years. That is it for now. This is Ritika Jain for The Print. Please do log on, please do like us, and please do tweet us. Thank you.